Good afternoon, readers, viewers and listeners of ATC News. Today we continue with another interview. The last you heard from us was a discussion with Executive Chef Alex here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel. And today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Mr. Philippe Bittencourt. He is the general manager of the Sheraton Kampala Hotel and has been around for a while. And the reason why we are talking to him today is obviously to find out his view on what must have been the most unprecedented time in his entire career over the last few months, when not just in Uganda but everywhere else around the world we had lockdowns, and hotel business went from doing very well to doing not at all. Philippe, welcome. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from originally, and your career stages which brought you eventually here to Kampala.
Good morning or good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Walkland, for spending your precious time here at the Sheraton and here with me. So my name is Jean-Philippe Bittencourt. It's a French name, but my origins are Brazil. I was born and grew up in Brazil. My father was Brazilian, my mother, she's French. And but Brazil for me, it's my hometown. I grew up there, and I started my career in hospitality. I'm from Rio de Janeiro. I think people know that beautiful destination. So I started my career in Le Méridien Hotel, Copacabana, and then I decided to go back to my studies and do an MBA in hospitality business administration. So I went to France. So I spent the first 2 years back to studies, and then when I graduated, I was hired by Euro Disney, now called Disneyland Paris. That was when they were opening in 1992. So that was a great experience, because we opened 6 hotels and the theme park all simultaneously in April 1992. So I worked in the preparation 1 year of let's say pre-opening team, and then I continue a few more years. Then I changed to a very big French hospitality group where I worked for almost 20 years. So I was sent at a certain stage of my career back to South America. I went first to Argentina, I came back to Brazil, and then I fly across to Middle East, where I spent also 8 years between Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and the wedding with that company ended. I started a new life with Sheraton, which I'm extremely grateful, and I started in Eastern Africa. So my first assignment was at Djibouti, Sheraton Djibouti, which belongs to the same company that owns Sheraton Kampala. I spent 3 years there, and once I had 2 occasions we had company meetings, and they were held here in Uganda. And I immediately fell in love with the country, and I say to myself, wow, it would be a good opportunity if I could be transferred here one day. And the dream came true. So in 2016 I got the possibility of moving as a general manager of this beautiful hotel, and I've been here now for 5 years. So it has been a very beautiful experience from a professional, but also from a human point of view, because this country has so much to offer. The people here are really extremely interesting, good, warm in their welcome, and the culture, and I really fell in love with Ugandan. And sometimes I say I'm becoming Ugandan, and I unfortunately know very few words of the language, the Luganda. I know there are several languages in this country, but I feel very attached. Somehow Uganda reminds me a lot my home country, Brazil. We have a bit the same lifestyle, we have the same nature, the green, the red soil, and those excellent fruits you have here. So I feel I felt and I feel a natural bond with Uganda.
The Sheraton Kampala is now, I believe, 53 years in existence. It started off as the Apollo Hotel, became in 1987 a Sheraton, and has been a Sheraton ever since. And I just wrote the other day that generations of Ugandans have very close emotional ties to this hotel. It's a legacy of hotel keeping. It is an icon of hotel keeping here in Uganda. And of course, when you came in 2016, there were already a number of competing hotels at a similar level. Competition has intensified since. Where does the Sheraton Kampala stand today, considering that generations of Ugandans actually still look at this hotel and saying, this is our hotel from the days of Apollo? Where do you stand today as Sheraton?
You know, one thing that is very curious is that I had the occasion, of course, to travel up country. Sometimes you go to very remote areas, and when you say the word Sheraton, I mean, oh, Sheraton, the people they know in very, very remote areas of the country, and they will not know about
Other
other
hotels.
hotels. And even I know that some places they call with different spelling some Sheraton hotels. So it's such a landmark because of what it represented at the time when it opened, and all the history that passed through this hotel. It's full of history, it's full of memories. Some are political events that had here, because this building was a witness of the recent history of the country since its opening. And of course, a lot of people, they had their weddings, they celebrated special moments in their lives, and they really feel like coming back to commemorate those times. And I mean, every time I meet someone that had a piece of his life history here, I learn about new things. It's really the hotel. I think that's the uniqueness of the hotel, because it's made of a lot of memories, of emotions, of people's lifetime. Mm-hmm. And even if the time passes, I think this hotel will always remain.
Well, it is a landmark, and not just because of the location, sitting in the midst of an extensive park, which I believe belongs to the Kampala Capital City Authority, but it is vested into Sheraton for management and upkeep and maintenance, and that gives you, of course, a prime location in the city. So when I say a landmark, this is understood in many ways, and as you explained, for many Ugandans, even up country, if you ask them about the one hotel, they would know, okay, let me qualify that. The old generation, they would say Sheraton. Some would even say Apollo Hotel. Others would say Imperial and Speak, because those three were the hotels in the city center, which were frequented by a different clientele. And obviously the who is who, captains of industry, and really the top level of society, they used to come to the Sheraton. And that, I think, went down to the next generation and the generation afterwards. I'm one of those. My daughter had her wedding here, and she spent her first, I think, 2 nights as a married couple here at the Presidential Suite. So these links have been created and will remain. Going a little further on that question, how is the Sheraton Kampala Hotel doing today in regards of business standing when it comes to obviously a much wider range of hotels, many of which were created in up to 2007 for the Commonwealth Summit, and ever since we have hosted very large events, and Sheraton was always very much at the center of it all because of the conference facilities, because of the location. You're literally right opposite the entrance of State House here in Kampala. So where do you stand? Where do you see yourself today?
Well, I would say that the our place is still there. The location is prime, and also I think the quality, the professionalism in the service we deliver. We are backed up. I mean, we are Sheraton, but today backed up at one of the largest hotel hospitality companies worldwide, Marriott, with a large experience in all continents and very, very strong in human capacitation. We have access to online, mainly trainings of all different disciplines that we really make sure that the people working here have access to it. And I would say our different programs of the loyalty program is one of the very important pillars, being part of the Marriott Group. So our clients that enroll in Marriott Bonvoy have a lot of advantages and benefits staying all over the world. So this is one very important factor. But of course, we have a very I would say ambitious plan of renovations. That is a renovation that will always keep with that history feeling. I mean, we want to maintain certain things. We don't want to make a total change so that people they don't recognize anymore what is this hotel. This renovation plan has been built. That was one of my main assignments when I came here, is to work. Of course, it takes time because of financing, because of approvals, and things were moving very good until the COVID started. We were supposed now to be renovating two stories completely with a new design, but the COVID crisis has
thrown a spanner in the work, and not just here.
It's just a parenthesis. We will come back to this project, but of course the COVID has a tremendous impact in our business. So we need now to rephase things.
I do recall being here just a few days before the lockdown happened in Uganda. I do recall that your occupancies were like 60 or 70% at the time. In the week, I believe between 14th and 21st of March, visitors staying here from abroad all rushed to the airport looking for every available flight, because all indications were on the global news that countries around the world would impose lockdowns. And ours was announced, I believe, on the 22nd of March. And soon afterwards, the hotel business came to a standstill. Now, you were lucky in a way that you had the Constellation Apartments, which is serviced apartments belonging to the hotel just across the access road, where you had a number of tenants staying. So you needed to continue operations, unlike some other hotels which decided in the absence of any business that they needed to shut down, or just remain open with one wing, for instance. Was it a shock for you when the threat of a lockdown actually became reality and you realized there was simply no business left?
Definitely. I would say that yes, we started hearing about the COVID since the end of 2019, but it was in China, then we saw what started happening in Europe, and then the whole world. And of course, the decision of locking down the country was a wise decision to protect everyone, but from a business perspective, it was very shocking. I think it never happened. Even people, they say at the time, at the difficult times of Uganda, the building has not been so empty. The first weeks, remember, of April, when my last guests were finding flights to leave the country.
Repatriation flights.
Yes, we literally found the hotel very, very quiet. We're used to have parties and even, I mean, we are surrounded by some nightclubs or bars that you always hear some noise. It was very, very, very quiet everywhere.
Eerie.
And of course, unfortunately, I had to send home most of our associates, our staff. I kept a team of 30 people here with me because still the building needs to be secured.
Engineering.
We need to keep cleaning. And as you said, we had to keep also care of our tenants. We continue delivering service, and I had 3 guests that got literally stranded and didn't want in the first instance to leave, and we had to take care of them. And then also I would say that's a little bit like I don't know if we can saying it's a miracle is maybe too much, but a little sign of hope was that people start calling and asking, oh, are you still selling cakes? Because our cakes have a very good reputation, especially the Black Forest.
They have the best reputation in town. Let's be honest with each other. That's why you're so successful with your Temptation Cake Shop.
So that was in a first moment. I say let's stop everything. Nobody will come here, but people start calling, and so we start responding. Yes, we can deliver the cake. So we start working with these delivery services, and also some people. They just send their drivers during the day. Some people that had the authorization to drive, and we have also our catering vehicles that could move to certain places. So we start taking the beautiful and tasty cakes from Temptations to people's home, and then people start asking, okay, we don't know how long it will last. This situation, but still we want to get married, we want to celebrate this birthday, can we do something with small groups? So that's what we started doing, what we call now the scientific events,
scientific weddings,
with a limited number of people, social distancing. You don't have any more buffet service that people touch in the spoons, the tongs. So it's our staff, our chefs, our waiters that serve you. So it's a different way. There's not anymore those celebration with 400, 500 or even 1,000 people as we used to have here before. But still, these are nice events. And so we started working, and until now, every weekend, every Friday, Saturday, and even Sundays, we have 2-3 events simultaneously in different areas of the hotel, of course. Then also, apart from the cakes that I mentioned, some takeaway food, we prepare some special menus that we knew that people would like, so people start also buying our food through these delivery services. Our laundry also, which is a very old service that we have.
Very popular as well.
People also started, can I bring my clothes, can I bring my curtains? I haven't done this for long, so we say, of course. So little by little, I start bringing a few of my associates back. So we climbed very quickly from the 30 to 50, 55 people in order to be able to
deliver these services.
Exactly, yeah.
That was during the second half of the lockdown,
Yes.
when eventually the use of private vehicles was again allowed with a limited number of people inside. And I believe besides the scientific weddings, you were also starting to host what I would call hybrid conferences or meetings, where you had video links through screens with overseas associates, while in a socially or physically distant way, people sat in the room and were able to transact business, which otherwise would not have been possible.
I would say that one very important moment to bring the confidence of people to organize this kind of events was the launch of the SOPs, the health, safety and hygiene SOPs.
Standard operating procedures
for the hospitality, which took place here. and they were launched by the Ministry of Tourism with the participation of
Ministry of
UTB,
Health, yeah.
UHOA, our Ugandan Hotel Owner Association, the Ministry of Health. So that was a very important moment because that was the first time we were showing effectively how the new normal will be, how we will welcome guests back to the hotel from the gate, the main entrance, through the check-in, through the lifts that take them to the floors where the rooms, how the guest room experience would be, and also all the food and beverage activities, the breakfast, having any meals in our lounge bar or in the restaurant. And a lot of training, of course, went before that. We have from Marriott, besides the SOPs from Ministry of Health, Marriott came out with a very strong
Their own
message,
standards.
which is a program called Commitment to Clean. So the Commitment to Clean is a vast program of training that all of us here from Sheraton went through, so that we could be prepared how to face any situations, including if eventually there is a guest that have some symptoms, how do we deal with that, what are the steps that we have to follow, if it's let's say a real case or if it's just a suspicion. So we have got that all the procedures, so we combine actually the SOPs from the Ministry of Health with our, which are very similar actually to Commitment to Clean, and it's a new way of doing our own business, our welcoming people, taking care of them, which of course it's but human being has this capacity of adapting very quickly. So we have. I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my mask now. I should be.
Well, we want to hear you, so
yes.
Obviously.
So we wear masks. When we are very close, like the waiters, they wear the face shields. A lot of washing hands, sanitation products in all the key areas, and where you have what they call the touch points. The touch points is really these places that everyone would touch. Like a very good example is the
door handles, elevator buttons.
Elevator buttons. So these places have to be constantly sanitized, and people have to also, after touching anywhere, wash their hands.
Yes.
And yes, and then the way also that we clean the room, the way that we take care of the linen after the room. So all this is washed separately with the specific chemicals. We have also an equipment that is going to be delivered very, very soon. It's what we call electrostatic spray. It's a process. It's a kind of a gun,
spray gun,
where a spray gun where you put a product. So it's especially for all the materials in different
conference rooms, restaurants, in the lobby.
So this will be here very soon.
Yes.
So we see that with the COVID crisis, a lot of new technologies adapted to the situation have been put in the market for us to have access, which is it's a very good thing. And also we are working differently. We are using much more now the Zoom.
Yes.
Less
new way to do
yes,
meetings.
New way of communicating, which has its big advantages.
And has disadvantages.
And disadvantage. But the advantage, I would say, we became more disciplined and productive, because the time that video start, if you are there, you're there. If you're not,
it's noted.
And people has to prepare for those, so they have to come
ready.
with their, ready. And I would say that what helps also a lot, the fact that people could work remotely, is that they lose less time in traffic jams. So they are less stressed with what they're leaving at home, with the kids, if they have any concerns of something happening at home. So they can work from home, take care of their things, and not being in that stress of the car, 1-2 hours driving to go to be on time at work, and then
There
the
are
way
ups
back.
and there are downs.
Exactly.
So, Philippe, now that you are open again at the Sheraton Kampala with a full range of services, some areas are still closed: pool, spa, hair salon, waiting for certification from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism. Now that this is out of the way, as we wrap up the interview, where do you see the industry go? Where do you see the Sheraton Kampala go over the next couple of months and into next year?
The industry will still go with two big challenges because we still have a lot of countries locked down. The air traffic is not started everywhere, and people are going to be much more concerned about buying a ticket and stepping into a plane. So I believe it will take time until we are back to what we know how business was before. So we have to adapt to that. There are of course some consequences or let's say measures that you have to take, because the most important thing is to survive, is to face this reality, adapt yourself to the demand that will be there. And it will take probably 2-3 years until we see again the business that we used to have.
The level
before.
of occupancy you had before.
Exactly. But it's again, is one more reason to be excellent, to do our best to deliver the best services as we can, and to show our professionalism, and to be innovative. Innovative is innovation, creativity. That's the moment to show new things, different things that will correspond to what people are looking for.
One final question. Did the government of Uganda come up with any financial incentive scheme, with any financial support or subsidies, considering that the hotel and tourism industry is a major employer and went flat down as far as business and revenues were concerned?
We are working together with the government. I am a board member of the Uganda Hotel Owners Association, and we are very strong in our actions in order to ask for some support. We have addressed our requests. They have been taken in consideration. We are waiting for responses that I hope that they will be positive, because we really need the support. Not only the Sheraton, but the whole industry in Uganda, the city hotels, the hotels up country. Our industry is really suffering a lot, and our industry employs a lot of people. And yes, we have a lot of people that today they have the jobs, because we have not made any redundancy so far, but they are at home. And after some months, we could keep some paying them something, but it became very difficult because our cash flows are
Well, your revenues are going down to zero.
Cash flow became a big challenge now for the next months. We need more revenues, and we still have to pay our debts.
Well,
but I'm confident that we will overcome all of this.
Well, ATCNews followers, readers, viewers, and listeners, there you have it from the horse's mouth. Philippe Bittencourt, General Manager of the Sheraton Kampala Hotel, has shared his views and insights with you. And on behalf of all of them, I would like to thank you very much for the hospitality and for your time.
Thank you.